Alright, so back in 2017, Sonic Mania released, and it proceeded to die for all of our sins and ascend to the heavens 3 days later. Mania being a critical darling was a big deal for Sega, who paraded around the fact that it was now the highest rated Sonic game in almost 25 years. This is not how I would have spun it in the marketing, I just want to say that because that statement has always seemed like a sort of backhanded compliment to me. But alas, here we are. It's like Sega openly admitting like, oh hey, we haven't been able to do anything that the general public thinks is good for the last over 20 years or so. So look, these other guys, they made something. They did what we couldn't do, so please go buy our game. I don't know. Something about that always rubbed me the wrong way, but I digress. The game deserves all the praise that it's gotten, and I mean, we can always use more solid 2D Sonic, but my gripes with Sonic Mania seem to only pile up as the years go by. Back in 2017, I loved the game, and playing through it even made me tear up at times, considering I've been a Sonic fan for my entire life. Just seeing these things so fully realized was amazing. It was a great first experience. But after going back and playing some of the older Sonic team developed games, Mania just hits kind of different and not necessarily in a good way. So Sonic Mania has great gameplay, great animation, great art in general, and the character designs are also fantastic. The music is wonderful. What bothers me is how people gloss over the level design. This game loves to take existing levels and pieces of levels from the classic series and remix them and shuffle them around to create something new, so to speak. I mean, this isn't the worst thing in the world, and I get it's supposed to feed into your nostalgia. That's kind of the point of this whole project. But where it falls flat for me is when I'm sitting here thinking about what Sonic game I actively want to play or time attack. Sure, I could play through Sonic Mania's beautiful rendition of Green Hill Zone, but when I get to that section with the loop-de-loop and the platforms going up and down, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is pulled straight from Sonic 1. I could be playing Sonic 1 instead. Boy, I sure do love Sonic 1. What I'm saying is these days I want something new from 2D Sonic, and Mania plays it very safe overall. Of the 12 or so stages, only 4 are completely original. And I mean, Sonic 4 had 4 original stages when it came out. We didn't give it a pass. I'm not saying that, Sonic 4 is anywhere near the level of quality that Sonic Mania is. I'm just saying, it's 4 levels, We can point to 4 levels from Sonic Mania and be like, oh yeah, those are Mania exclusives right there. I mean, it's just kind of sad, So the problem when I'm thinking about what game to play is I would rather just play the classic games that Mania is pulling inspiration and in some cases exact level design from, instead of Mania's interpretation of it. I mean, to be honest, Mania also feels a little redundant after we already had Sonic Generations, which was already a perfect love letter to the series and fans up to that point. Generations pulled from old level themes, but it being a 3D game, all those levels are 100% new, and you get to see old assets and things, that were always 2D brought into 3D, and that was really cool. When you're blasting through Green Hill as modern Sonic, aside from the general Green Hill aesthetic, there's nothing familiar there in the level design, so the whole thing just feels fresh. So my other big gripe with Mania, aside from the level design, is the way that, as I get older, it feels less like a Sonic game made by fans for the fans, and more like a Sonic game made by fans for the normie people who haven't touched a Sonic game since Sonic 2 on their cousin's Genesis back in 1992. These people return to the series with Mania, and it feels like everything is as they left it. But for me, I mean, I don't know, I remember the Sonic Advance games. People like to rag on these games because haha, dimps make Sonic 4 bad, but the original Sonic Advance trilogy and the Sonic Rush games too, those are totally Sonic team developed games, with Yuji Naka even being at the helm of the Advance series. And so the additions that they bring to the table, we can legitimately look at those as Sonic team trying to evolve the 2D Sonic formula. I just can't say the same for Mania. I mean, it just feels like something was lost there. Like a lot was lost there, honestly. Like, it was like we took 3 steps forward, and then we took those 3 steps back, and then we took, like, a bunch more steps back, and we just went back to 1994, because that's when things were good, I guess. Mania does not keep anything that the Advance series came up with, not that I can think of. And I really think that's a shame, because some of these ideas were really good. I mean, it doesn't have any ground attacks, no unique aiming gameplay, no Yuji Yukawa art style, keeping the brands consistent like Advance 1 had. It doesn't have the mid-air trick system, no boost, no downhill jam style level design from Sonic Advance 2, and you don't have the tag team gameplay with like 5 playable characters that Sonic Advance 3 had. Did you know that in Sonic Advance 3, Knuckles is able to spin dash as he's climbing up walls if he has the right partner combination? Like, they were really experimenting with stuff and came up with a lot of really cool things that you could do, some useful, some not so useful, but it opened up the sandbox and it allowed players to really express themselves the way that they really wanted to. I can't say anything like that for Sonic Mania. The best thing that we got was the drop dash, and as cool as the drop dash is, I mean, it's just one move. Tails didn't get anything, Knuckles didn't get anything, and Encore mode is just changing the partner that you have with you, but you don't get like any partner actions or anything, so it's a far cry from Sonic Advance 3. Like, I don't know, man, I just feel like these mechanics could have been brought back and iterated on and made even better, but it's like Sonic Mania doesn't even try. Why leave all that on the cutting room floor? Like, I mean, aren't sequels supposed to move their series forward? Can't we just go back to the old games if we want to play the old games? Do we need all this nostalgia pandering? Can we just let things die? I don't know. You can play Sonic 1 on literally anything these days. Was all the nostalgia pandering truly what these devs wanted to make, or did Sega, like, make them go this route? I really don't know. I have no answers. I'm just bitching about video games. Till next time. Peace.